Now, you shared that you're 51, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, for disclosure here, I'm 57. So, we've made choices that are allowing us to experience good health as opposed to poor health. Your father is in a nursing home. My father never made it to a nursing home. My father had an instant heart attack. He was on a fishing trip, and he was eating buttered popcorn, and he most likely was dead before he hit the floor. Okay, those are choices that are made, all right? You've chosen to make other food choices and other lifestyle choices that would lead you to good health. I've made the same thing. When we get into this whole aspect, many people think that they have to make major lifestyle changes in order to be able to properly do some of the things that we're talking about. There's 2 amino acids that if people would just use these 2 amino acids on a daily basis, they can make a huge difference in the health of their cardiovascular system. Do you remember what those 2 are?
I'm just shaking my head at the amazement of what you know. So help me with this, Dan.
Well, the one's common and one's not. The common one is called L-arginine. You'll find it in most protein sources. But for a person to get what we would call a therapeutic level, they would need about 5 grams of L-arginine, which, you know, if you looked at it from foods that would be common to people, any kind of bean, like a black bean or a pinto bean, but they would need about 12 ounces or about a full can of that. Or you could choose tuna, but you would typically need about 2 cans of tuna. Or you could choose chicken breast, but you'd need almost a full pound of chicken breast. So when people begin to look at food, they begin to see that they also have calories and fat grams that they have to deal with. So that's the one. L-arginine is the common amino acid that your endothelial cells will use to create nitric oxide. The other one is called L-citrulline, which is not very common in food. About the only good food choice that you would have would be watermelon. And unfortunately, 60% of the L-citrulline is contained in the rind portion of the watermelon, which most people never eat. That's what we throw away. So you're looking at eating about a pound of watermelon on a daily basis to get a therapeutic level of L-citrulline. So that's why a lot of people, once they begin to understand this, there's a whole science behind this whole process. In fact, the science is Nobel winning prize science. 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to the 3 American researchers who discovered how this one cell lining called the endothelium takes L-arginine, a simple amino acid, essential because we can't produce it, we have to get it from food, and converts it into nitric oxide, which is a gas that is created on the inside of the artery to keep blood platelet cells from sticking together. So what is that going to do? Prevent strokes and heart attacks, right? Yet at the same time, it's a gas that diffuses across the wall of that vascular wall where the smooth muscles are to relax them. And so when you relax them, it improves blood flow, controls blood pressure. Better blood flow, better oxygenation, more energy, less waste products. And so there's a whole science out there since they were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1998, yet their research was done in the late 80s. So for over 20 years, this science has been there, yet we still don't hear about it today.
Why don't we hear about it today?
That's a good question.
Seriously, why don't we hear about it today?
It's a good question. We'll come back to that question because I want to share with you and the people who are watching us is that there is true science behind this, that there are actual clinical studies. So let me give you just 2. I'll give you a long-term clinical study application, and I'll give you a short-term one. Dr. J. Joseph Prendergast, who is an endocrinologist out of Palo Alto, California, he has been using this L-arginine, L-citrulline type of therapy since 1991. And he's familiar with the researchers who won the Nobel Prize winning award. And he's also at the cutting edge of vascular research at Stanford University, Dr. John Cook. And what he did, Dr. Prendergast, or he prefers to call himself Dr. Joe, what Dr. Joe did is he took that cutting-edge research and he took it and put it into practical application within his clinic. So since 1991, in treating and documenting well over 7,000 patients, he's had no heart attacks, no strokes, and less than 1% hospital admissions for cardiovascular issues since 1991 in over 7,000 of his patients. Remarkable results. And it's even more remarkable when you consider that 80% of those patients are diabetics who typically have cardiovascular issues because they have problems with blood sugar damaging their endothelial cells, causing problems to the endothelium, which reduces nitric oxide production, which then causes them to have all the circulatory problems that they have. So here's a doctor who's been using this kind of science since 1991 and less than 1% hospital admission, and the American Diabetes Association awarded him their highest honor in 2008, the Father of the Year Award, because of his remarkable ability to save people's lives.
Dan, every time I listen to you and I speak to you, every time I'm astounded by your knowledge. I really am. I'll calm down.
Yeah, it's not my knowledge. All I am is a person who is sharing the knowledge that's already out there. So you ask the question, why haven't we heard about this? Why hasn't the medical profession told us about this kind of stuff? So let me give you a more recent, a more recent study, as well as one that people would really see from a medical profession standpoint, a high-profile situation. There is a heart institute in the United States that is a very prestigious heart institute. It's out in Victorville, California. It's called the High Desert Heart Institute. They are part of the Cedars-Sinai Medical Group. Very well respected. Last year they did a study where they used Dr. Prendergast's product. It's called Pro-Arginine Plus, formulated to have both L-arginine and L-citrulline with other heart-healthy ingredients like vitamin D3 and vitamin K and other ingredients that are necessary for proper heart and cardiovascular function. And what they did is they chose 33 congestive heart failure patients that they had in their clinic. These were people who were pharmaceutically and medically managed to the maximum. There wasn't anything further that they could do for these patients other than get them new hearts, and of those patients, 60% were waiting for new hearts. So what they did is they put them on a program where they were given Pro-Arginine Plus, 2 scoops in the morning, 2 scoops in the evening, so getting a total of 4 scoops on a daily basis. By the end of 90 days, all of them were off of the heart donor program, and all of them were either substantially reduced or off of all medications completely. That's the kind of results that they saw by using a natural ingredient, a naturally designed product that could improve the health of their endothelial cells.
Which brings us right back to full circle. Why I'm sitting here with you talking about choices, and why I'm on a mission with you to save 1 million lives.
Yeah, and that mission is not just cardiovascular. I mean, one of the statistics that I keep coming across is that for women, there is a lot of attention paid to breast cancer, which there should be, okay? But 12 times more women are going to die from heart disease than they're going to die from breast cancer. And that's not to say that the emphasis on breast cancer is not important. What it is to say is that we need to have just as much emphasis, or maybe even more emphasis, on cardiovascular function for women, because 12 times more women will die from heart disease than what they're going to die from breast cancer. So we are on a mission to get that message out to people, to be able to help educate them on how they can improve the health of their endothelial cells and do it naturally, so that they can improve their cardiovascular function, and in that process improve not just their cardiovascular health, but the health of every one of their organs, because every organ is fed by the cardiovascular system.